G'day mates, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm going to be covering everything that happened in today's $10,000 TNA Trio Cup. It's the first Trio Cup we've had of the season in NA East, and it answers a lot of questions about which teams are doing well and which teams are struggling, who's dropping where and who's contesting who, because when there's money on the line, everything changes. We also had some other questions answered about Clix. Clix is now back with Bucke and Mackwood. It looks like we have a few new teams that formed and broke up today around this tournament. So I'm going to cover all that. I'm going to cover the results of the tournament because it was actually a really good cup. To start off with, before we run the leaderboard, I should cover a few changes. When I talk about the teams, you're going to wonder what happened there. Clix is back playing with Mackwood and Bucke. This kind of happened today. I don't want to say last minute, but I don't really know what happened here. I wish I had more information for you. The most I could get out of it just looks like Clix, Mackwood, and Bucke are back together. A few people were saying that Reet didn't play because his controller was broken, which is highly possible, and maybe that's why they subbed Clix in, but I didn't really actually get to see that. Reet just tweeted out, bro, my controller broke and I can't get a new one till the 14th. I don't know if that means that's why they didn't play with Reet and played with Clix, because Reet has been playing and streaming today and playing other games, so he still has another controller, or the controller works well enough to still play. Maybe they wanted to play with Clix over Reet with a broken controller, but if Reet gets a good controller, they'll go back with him, but I don't think that's the case. I'm pretty sure Clix, Mackwood, and Bucke are back together. As far as how well they performed today, it looked like they were having a fair bit of fun. They didn't do insanely well. They came in at 16th, but they didn't do insanely poorly either. I feel like their biggest issue was the similar issue that we saw when I was talking about scrims. Their surge options just weren't fantastic, but they were making it to endgame pretty consistently and playing them well, fixing up a few errors. I think this team could still be a really good team, but I feel like same as most often as not, when teams split up and they get back together, things don't really end up working again, but I guess we'll see. But I wanted to cover that before I talked about the leaderboard. The other major team change was the fact that Saf is still away. He went back to NA West to hang out with his family for 4th of July. That is why Epic Whale is playing with Kanata and Stretch. No, Epic Whale is not moving to NA East. No, Kanata and Stretch have not dropped Saf. They will be playing with him for the Cash Cups and FNCS. Looking at the leaderboard already, I'm gonna talk about Gabe Tahi and Sprite, but I have to talk about it. Centered, Commandment, and Edgy coming in 2nd place on 190 points. 1 point behind first. Half an elimination. I shouldn't smile. I shouldn't laugh. This is getting ridiculous. Centered tweeted out, I'm gonna freak the F out. There's no way we just got 2nd again. They still took home $2,400. They played fantastically. Centered also tweeted out, we haven't scrimmed since halfway through last season, and the only thing I enjoy is creative GG. So I don't really know. I'm not really sure exactly how Centered, Edgy, Commandment are doing it, because yes, 2nd place is 2nd place. You didn't win, but they've come 2nd place in 3 FNCSs. Centered came 2nd in DreamHack. Sorry, my counting's getting off there, and now 2nd in the TNA Trio Cup. Centered has come 2nd in 5 major events in a row. You can take that as a negative that he didn't win, or you could say that right now Centered might just be the most consistent player in the world with Commandment and Edgy. Obviously, when he did DreamHack, that wasn't with Edgy, but Centered and Commandment and Edgy have to be the most consistent trio in the world now. Yes, there's teams like Hen Chapix and Yanis who are popping off in EU. If they weren't contested in finals, I'm sure they would have popped off as well. They're popping off in Cash Cups, but man, 2nd place, 5 major events in a row. That is insane, and that shows that Centered, Commandment, and Edgy are some of the best players in the world right now. But I had to just mention that because I just thought it was ridiculous. I just don't know how this is happening at this point. The statistical probability of this is insane, but the victory does go to Gabe Tahi and Sprite, and they played phenomenally well. Their match history is there. If you want to look at the leaderboard, if I don't talk about a team in enough detail that you wanted to check out, the link will be in the description down below. It is public for anyone to check, but Gabe Tahi, Sprite played phenomenal. They played 6 games. They got 1 win with 191 points, and remember, this is the FNCS format. It's 30 points for a win, and each elimination is worth 2. So this is the same format we're gonna have for FNCS. They got an 8 elimination win, a 3 elimination 15th, an 11 elimination 7th, a 3 elimination 4th, a 3 elimination 8th, and an 8 elimination 6th. That is very, very consistent from them. But the main issue they were having, and the reason why they almost didn't win the tournament, was what I've been talking about in my videos. we had Sprite tweet out, bro, we are below Surge at 5 kills. One of their games, they had 5 kills and they were still below Surge. Surge right now is ridiculous, and it's making certain drops, a lot of the edge map drops, really, really hard. By the time you rotate out of them, other teams have gotten 3, 4 body snipes, a few AR tags on their opponents around the center of the map. You need to make up that damage on top of making up that distance. So it was interesting to see how it played out, but a lot of the best teams showed up today. So I don't know if that could really be used as an excuse, because you had Acorn, Slacks, and Jack, FNCS winning team on 184 points with 6 games and a win. Reverse 2K Day and Mira in 4th on 150 points with a win. And this win was insane. They got an 18 elimination first place. Sorry. It was a 22 elimination first place. I was looking at their game too. Their game 4, they dropped a 22 elim win in a super stacked FNCS style trio format finals. Day himself had 12 eliminations. Compare that to the fact that no other team, unless I've gotten this wrong, had over a 12 elim game. As a team, he got more eliminations by himself than any other team during the day. They absolutely popped off, but again, coming out of Dirty Dogs, they were finding Storm Surge issues. They were either having massive games like that or going down early because they couldn't get their Surge sorted. So it was an interesting tournament to watch. We had Nico, Qua, and Paper Shot, which was great to see. Obviously, Paper's, been kind of in the dirt a little bit since he got banned on Twitch. He's been upset, and it's good to see these popping off in competitive. I'm really happy to see that from him. We had Epic Whale filling in for Saf with Kanata and Stretch coming in 6th place. This was an interesting one as well, though. They did only play 5 games. One of their games did not count. I'm not entirely sure what happened there. I'm pretty sure there was a fill. I think they got someone to fill in for their last game for Kanata. I don't know if their points still counted for that 6th game then, but this was interesting because today actually led to a bit of drama between Stretch and Acorn, Jack, and Slacks. Stretch, for some reason, taking aim at the FNCS champions, saying that they got lucky for their win. The only reason why they did well in Cash Cups was because they had RPGs. It went backwards and forwards and everyone got a little bit heated. I'm not entirely sure why Stretch took aim at Slacks, Jack, and Acorn, but I guess that's what Stretch does. It's the same as Zate always used to do. Any advantage that you can get over your opponent, whether it be psychological warfare on social media, that is fair game for Stretch. So that was interesting to see today. The pros were really, really getting heated over what was a tournament before Cash Cups even start. This was a third-party tournament that was put on for a charity as well. Some other notable teams that you might be asking about how well did they do. The OCE boys, Speedy, Muzz, and Luda, they had a mixed performance. They managed to get 2 top 5s, which was great for them. Their 2nd and 4th game, so only 4 games playing on NA East, fresh off the plane. They managed to get 2 top 5s, which is an awesome performance, but they did struggle a little bit with their consistency. When they didn't get top 5, they pretty much went down before even top 20, so bit of a struggle for them, but again, they ended up not being able to get their PCs. Luda even tweeted out that he was playing some of the end games on 50 FPS, so it looks like their PCs weren't able to clear customs. Hopefully they'll be here before the Cash Cups. I'm sure they will be, but it was still interesting to see. Even on not their own setups, they still had the potential to make some end games, proving they can overcome Storm Surge, they can rotate, and they can fit into an NA East playstyle. I'm confident they'll get better. I'm only scared because, like I already addressed, the other main retail team, Casca, Smacked, and Niddle, were not playing in the TNA finals, so they were uncontested at retail. That is not going to happen in an FNCS format. Maybe Cash Cups, they can go to Lazy Lake because they won't have to contest Stretch because obviously they won't get in their lobbies, but it's going to be interesting to see how they go. Also, we had Degen, Skittles, and Ages back together again. They didn't have a great tournament, but that was because they were getting contested at Colossal Crops. They were going down early a lot in that. They were kind of going backwards and forwards. They were winning more of the storm fights, more of the spawn fights than they were losing against Colazo, but quite often teams around them would rotate in and take really aggressive fights. Quite often those teams being Avery, Bugha, and Nosh, who came in 12th place. Not really sure what happened to their tournament. They just had a tale of, I guess, inconsistency and getting really close to high placements. They came in 12th place, but if you look at their match history, it actually looks a lot better than that. They got an 8 elim 3rd, fantastic game, a 1 elim 28th, not great, but then a 5 elim 6th, a 7 elim 7th, a 3 elim 7th, and then a 0 elim 26. So with those 4 games where they made it off spawn, they ended up getting an average placement of like 4th or 5th, which is really good. They've just got to fix what went wrong in those 2 games where they went down on spawn, which quite often was playing aggressive pushes into Colossal Crops or the areas around it, trying to clean up some of those fights. So it ended up going against them. Last thing I wanted to talk about was the server performance. These were custom servers, so worse than tournament servers. I've talked about that in the past. Whenever tournaments run on custom servers, they just don't get the same priority. They don't run as well as the actual tournament servers, and that usually causes a lot of issues in stack lobbies. I'm not going to try and pretend like the games were perfect. There was a few issues of kind of stuttering and a bit of lag. A decent amount of lag, but a lot better, like so much better than custom tournaments we saw last season. Like if you remember the FaZe Cup where it was so laggy, the players assigned to FaZe were willing to grief their own tournament because they were getting that bored and that frustrated at how bad the servers were. So it was absolutely nothing compared to that. So if this is what custom servers look like, I'm actually really excited to see what tournament servers look like. It seems that Epic has made some moves despite adding crazy like UFOs and stuff to the game by not letting them go into competitive. It looks like the servers are actually looking pretty good, and there's a lack of wildlife on the map now in competitive. A lot of things that people have talked about that would create server lag have been taken out. So I'm excited to see how Cash Cups and FNCSs look, because if this is custom servers, which are the bad servers, and it was still, you know, pretty good, I have to imagine the tournament servers are going to look really good. Alright guys, that does it for another video. I hope you enjoyed it. Remember, if you tuned into the Twitch channel for the viewing party, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. I am doing another one today. We have the Gamer Sensei Trios Cup, which is an NA East invite-only trio cup. Should be super stacked games again. So twitch.tv/Aussie Antics. Swing by. It starts at 6 p.m. EST. I will be live for it, but I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please chuck a like on it. Let me know in the comments section down below your thoughts on anything I talked about today. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. It would mean the world to me. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.